it's Zen-81. I wanted to make a really quick video talking about some of the tips that I have personally for starting locks, and this all comes from personal experience, so you can take it with a grain of salt. There are three things that always pop into my mind as the most important when it comes to starting locks, and the first one is going to be not to compare yourself to other people, because I had an image of what I wanted my locks to look like. I even started X number of locks to match my lock idol's number of locks. She had like 108 locks, I think. So I tried to give myself 108. No, she probably had 106, but I ended up having like 108 or whatever, because I was trying to match hers as closely as possible. And that didn't work for me. I didn't like the way they looked as starter locks, and then I made even more locks to try to make them look like micro locks, because I liked the way micro locks looked at on someone. And that didn't work either, because I have a ton of hair, and it was just too much maintenance to try to maintain 200 and something locks. And I ended up combining them, and I ended up with 169. So not only did my amount of locks on my head not match what I envisioned or wanted for myself, the texture of my hair didn't match either. A lot of the people that I saw, they had like uniform looking locks and just a medium density of hair, so they could do certain styles and ponytails and stuff like that. My hair density, it was always thick, but it became even thicker when I locked my hair. And because I didn't palm roll, my hair was like curly and bumpy in some areas. So my locks, although I'm happy with them, they didn't really turn out the way I imagined them at first, or pictured that they would turn out. The only ironic thing is that when I was in beauty school, I was the only one with locks, and for motivation, I printed up images of people whose locks I liked. So Bronze Goddess is on there, and I'm going to try to insert a picture. I don't know who the second person is, but then the third woman is a model, and even though I liked her hair, I never ever thought my hair would turn out like hers. And like 5 years later, looking back at that picture, my hair kind of does look like hers. It's like the same thickness, the same length, the same bumpiness, and I'll insert a picture so you know what I'm talking about. So don't compare yourself to other people, because other people's hair is different than yours, and even if you try to emulate that, there are so many different factors like genetics and hair type and hair density. It's not gonna happen most of the time. Like, you're lucky if it does. So just embrace the uniqueness of your own hair, and your own hair is gonna look good regardless, because it's gonna look the way it's meant to look. My second piece of advice is to keep your regimen really simple. When I just started out, I kind of kept it simple from the get-go, and that's only because I was watching a lot of Damien Walter videos, and he always emphasizes like this regimen where you wash with like a deep cleansing shampoo, and then you follow up that second wash with a moisturizing shampoo, and you stay away from wax and mineral oil and all this other stuff. Like he would always explain how by doing that you were maintaining the integrity of the hair, you were keeping it clean and open to hydration. That's what he kept stressing over and over again, and I would always watch his videos, and that's pretty much what I started to do on my own. And then when I would see products, I would use the Talia Wajid Lock It Up, because I think he was using either the Lock It Up or the Tight Hold on his clients, and that has like aloe vera gel in it. It's like really clear, it doesn't really leave a lot of residue. It's not as strong as like using wax on your hair or some of the other products, but that's what I stuck to because I wanted my locks to stay clean and residue free. I do spritz my hair every so often with like really diluted conditioner, and that's mainly because my ends are looser, or if my ends feel a little bit drier, but I don't do that too often, and I don't really need to do that too often. So keeping a really simple regimen is good, because you don't really have to worry about wasting money on products that don't work for you, and you don't have to worry about like build up and things like that when you keep your regimen really simple. It helps in the long run, because if you're just starting your locks, you do not want to use any product that turns out to be waxy or has residue, and then it's embedded in there and it's really hard to take out. The third piece of advice has to do with diet. I say this because sometimes people ask other people, why is your hair so long, or how come you're not struggling with like dryness, or how come my hair is breaking? And diet does play a huge role. In the book that I wrote, The Secret to Luscious Locks, a huge portion of that book talks about diet. And what motivated me to write that book is, even to this day, people always like tell me, they're always like shocked if I tell them I'm almost 40. And that would not have been the case when I was like 23, 24, because I think I looked a little bit older than that age. I looked pretty rough. And it wasn't until I started like really simplifying my life, like my beauty regimen, my hair regimen, and taking in the right foods, that I started to look better than I did like 10, 15 years ago. So that's the whole premise of the book. That's why I wrote it. It's just, you drink a lot of water, it's going to help your skin look nice and your hair grow. You eat a lot of fruits and vegetables and grains that has nutrients in it. It's going to help promote healthy hair, healthy skin, a healthy body. Like, you have to keep your body healthy if you want healthy hair to grow from it. So those are the 3 main tips I have for starting locks. One thing I want to touch on is lint, because a lot of people freak out about lint and they ask how to prevent lint. And for me, I was always anxious about it, but as time went on, I learned that there are so many different techniques for dealing with it. I've seen people cover over their lint with a permanent marker. I've seen people dye over their lint, and I have dyed over my lint before because I have like 2 or 3 locks in the back that touch my neck that are prone to getting like oil or lint in them. I've seen people soak their hair in apple cider vinegar. I've tried that before, but I don't have the patience to do that now, especially since my hair won't fit in the bathroom sink. My current loctician, she has like a tool that's similar to a tool that you use to clean in between a keyboard. Only hers wasn't meant for that, and she bought it like years and years ago, and they don't make it anymore. She goes over the locks with that tool, and you can actually see when she opens it up that the lint comes out and it gets stuck in the vacuum. And you can also go and have your locks detailed by someone, where they'll take like a crochet hook and they'll slowly pick the lint out for you without damaging the lock. Or you could do it yourself with like a crochet hook or a pin if you know what you're doing. Like, there's different ways to dealing with it. I've even seen people on YouTube who have they'll do like an undercut, like cut off whatever lock bothers them the most. I've done things to avoid lint. I sleep on a satin pillowcase. I tie my hair up a lot at home. I don't use heavy products, and I still get lint because it floats around everywhere. My cat, she's on the couch right now. There's like cat fur floating around my house, and little strands get stuck in my hair. I'm not going to say it's unavoidable, because I'm sure there are people that don't ever have to deal with lint, but it's really normal. So you kind of have to find out what works for you and not stress too much about it, because it happens to almost everybody. And the last thing is thinning. There are different reasons people's hair thins. Sometimes it's the heaviness of their locks, especially if their root is really like silky or small up here, like thinner, and it's holding a heavier lock. That's my case in some areas of my hair, because I have had my hair combined. There's also diet. If your diet is really deficient in something like B12 or iron, and your body's like really in need of it, it's going to pull it from like your hair, or it's going to pull nutrition from your body. It's not ideal if you're deficient in some kind of vitamin. It's going to show up in your hair. Just people that not tie their hair, they style their hair really tightly, and then they experience a little bit of thinning around their hairline, or areas that have been literally pulled. They see like breakage and thinning in the parts that they twisted or braided too tight. For thinning, there are ways your hair could be combined, and you would go to a loctician if you want to find like a really good way, but you can do it yourself by twisting your hair together and holding it, or braiding it, or crocheting it if you know how to do that. Thinning's not something I really freak out too much about. If your hair is like balding in some areas and it looks like alopecia, like I would consider that severe, and I would probably see a doctor. just to have a looked at, or I would see like an experienced loctician that's been doing hair for like a long time, just so that you can decide from there if locks are something that you want to keep, because locks are a great style, but you're not worth your health, and you're not worth losing your hair permanently. So that's pretty much it. I hope these tips helped someone. These are just my own personal tips that I've learned through experience throughout these 5 years, and I'm still learning to this day. Like, there are areas of my hair that feel heavy because they're thinner, and they're holding on to a lock that's thicker because it's been combined, and I'm gonna have to decide how to deal with that. Even the longer hair, I don't wear my hair down all the time like I used to, like I've been doing for almost 5 years straight, because it doesn't feel right anymore. It's heavy and it gets caught in things. So it's a journey, and the journey always changes, and you always learn new things and new ways of doing things. So I just share what I've personally learned, and I don't dictate to anyone what they should be doing with their lives, because everyone's different. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you soon. Ciao.